The 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development is a global endeavour with 17 broad goals and 169 specific targets to achieve a better and more sustainable future for all. The implementation of these goals is tracked by a collection of 231 indicators. This video shows you how ESCAP uses these indicators to measure progress based on data and evidence. Measuring SDG progress poses several challenges. Firstly, indicators are diverse and not comparable, thus requiring normalization as well as a general approach to predictions. Secondly, data for many indicators are missing or partially available. And finally, target values are not often defined. Nevertheless, ESCAP has developed a methodology that addresses these challenges and enables development stakeholders to objectively track progress. Moreover, the results are a powerful advocacy tool highlighting achievements as well as gaps where efforts need to be focused. The methodology seeks to answer two questions: how much progress has been made so far? And are the targets going to be achieved by 2030? Let's start with the first question. Imagine that you are in the middle of a marathon and need to know how much of the total race you have already run. It's easy. Just look at where you are in relation to the start and finish lines. Tracking SDG progress is much the same. For each indicator, the starting line is the value of the base year, while the finish line is the target value. Therefore, the progress is the ratio of the distance from the base year divided by the total distance. We call this the current status index. Now that we know how we've performed, let's look into the future. Given what we know of the progress so far, if the trajectory remains the same, will the targets be achieved? First, we need to estimate what the value of each indicator will be in 2030. This will be discussed in a moment. Then compare with the target value to assess whether it will be achieved or how far off it will be. The scale here is the distance from the value in 2015 to the target value. We call this the Anticipated Progress Index. When setting targets, it is preferable to use the SDG target values or a target value that has been agreed internationally or proposed by a UN agency. However, if no target value is apparent, ESCAP's methodology suggests a way to calculate an aspirational but realistic value. Based on existing regional data, identify the top 5 performers determined from the annual rate of change after eliminating outliers. The top rates are then averaged to establish a regional target rate of change. If 5 countries have succeeded in growing at a positive rate, then others should strive to achieve the same growth. The target value is then calculated by applying the target rate to the regional aggregate in 2015. Let's move on to aggregation. The progress of each indicator is measured as an average of progress over all variants of the indicator. These are then averaged at the SDG target and subsequently at goal levels. The objective is to give equal weights to all targets under each goal and equal weights to all indicators under each target. While we try to use as many indicators as possible, there needs to be minimum requirements for integrating them into the analysis. There are 2 criteria which must be met. The first is sufficient data, whereby only indicators with 2 or more data points for at least half of the countries in the region are taken into consideration, and target setting, where a target value can be set objectively and transparently. SDG indicators may also be disaggregated by sex, urbanization, age, and other variables. In these cases, the most disadvantaged population groups are identified and the index is averaged with the total index. Therefore, progress for an indicator is contingent on advancing the most disadvantaged. Producing the Anticipated Progress Index requires the prediction of future values as well as the imputation of missing values for previous years. These data points are estimated using a time-weighted regression model. The time-related weights work as multipliers that inflate or deflate the rate of change in each period in proportion to its temporal distance to the target year. ESCAP publishes the yearly progress assessment results in 3 levels with its signature data visualizations. The first is a snapshot which shows the current status index at the goal level. The second is the dashboard, This gives an overview of the anticipated progress index at the SDG target level, identifying where acceleration or trend reversal is needed. And the third is the progress gap. The progress gap presents the anticipated progress index at the indicator level, showing how far off target they will be in 2030. Visit data.unescap.org to access the latest SDG progress analysis for Asia Pacific and learn how you can apply this methodology to national SDG progress using the National SDG Tracker.